My name is Pat Gage. I'm the host of the Commercial Real Estate Investing Mastermind. We meet bi-weekly on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, as we are now. And for more information on future guests and stuff, you can go to opportunitycreator.com. And there's a list of the different guests we're going to have on. Grant is one of them tonight. He's got a great story. A fellow Michigander here, lives in Michigan. We're from Michigan here. I run a real estate investment company called the Block G Group here in Michigan, and basically we look for properties from 32 units to 140 units in Class B and C areas in Michigan, as well as a couple other states. We use the syndication model, meaning that we use money from other people to fund the deal and move the deal forward. Now, tonight you're going to hear a different model from Grant. That's kind of why I wanted him on, among other things. There's different ways to skin a cat, right? There's a syndication now, is, everybody's heard that, and there's a lot of different ways to do different things. So that's why I want to bring on people that are doing stuff differently, and welcome to the people who just joined us as well. We're going to basically have Grant talk to us for a few here, kind of hold your questions towards the end, and I'll give a chance to have an open mic in the chat. You can raise your hand, and we can civilly do it that way. After he's done, that way we can have enough time, and there will be plenty of time to answer questions. I think he's only got 30 or 40 page PowerPoint to go through, so we should be okay. No, he doesn't. I don't think he has that many. I don't think, but we'll have enough time to do that. But what I would like to also, as well as in the chat box, let me share my screen. Put in your information in the chat, and how you do is that click on chat and put in your personal information and how, because what this mastermind is sharing ideas, sharing partnerships, sharing deals. Please put your information in there. I'll put in mine right now to show you how you can do it. Put your contact information in there, and let me share mine right here and right now with you guys. Mine's a little bit long, but basically that's what you can do. Is what we're going to do is we're recording this. So once we get this recorded, rendered tonight, I'll send out the chat log as well with the link to the recording, so you'll have all the information there. So, and I'll also share with you towards the end of the call how you can capture the chat log before you go home. Okay, so you don't have to be busily penciling, writing stuff out, and trying to figure out all the scrolling names going by you. I've done that quite a few times, and I had to figure out how to do it. So, but go ahead and put your information in there, what you're looking for, what you can provide to other people. If is it deals, is it due diligence, is it underwriting? And again, that's what the reason for this mastermind is, to get together with people who are looking at deals, have money but don't have the deals, have the time, don't have the money, vice versa. Okay, so that's the mission of this meetup here. This doorbell is driving me crazy. But anyway, get a pen and paper out and get your questions out for the guest tonight. His name is Grant Warrington, and he's a full-time real estate investor. He is here. He lives here in Michigan. He's a property manager and realtor in southeastern Michigan. He started with very little money, limited knowledge, and one single family rental. All right, that's good place to start, right? He quit his 20-year career job to take a pay cut to get into full-time property management and oversaw about 800 units. Okay, so if that wasn't good, right? Then he quit that job, right? For the experience. His property manager gave up his W-2 safety net to take his second pay cut, and where he followed his dream of working full-time in real estate. And he's going to share this story with you tonight. So not only did he quit one job, he quit two jobs to further his dreams, and he's accomplished all this in about 4.5 years. He's got 41 units. We just talked the other day, and he closed on a 8 unit that he'll talk to you about as well. So he's actively doing this. He's doing it with his wife. And again, his model is using his own money. Okay, so this is not a syndication model. This would be, self-funding. So it is possible, right? Anything is possible as long as you put your mind to it and get it going. So without further ado, I'm going to turn everything over to Grant and keep the doorbell ringing here because we get people still coming in. But please give a warm welcome. And Grant, the floor is yours, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Pat. I just want to say I appreciate you having me on. I've been excited to do this show. I know you get a lot of people that come to your event, so thanks for having me, first of all, right off the bat.
Thank you. Appreciate you having your time on a Wednesday evening with us.
Yeah. So, I guess I can kind of start in the beginning if that would help. But,
sure.
Basically, I want everybody here. I'm at 41 units. Some people have a lot more than that. Some people have a lot less. But basically what I did, when I say it's really my wife and I. So my wife and I are 100% partners on this. She's as active as I am. So, but basically what we did was we copied. We went out there. We found a group like Pat's. We met some people who are active and actively doing things. And we just asked them, what are you doing? What do you suggest we do? And then we went to work, and we actually did the things they said to accomplish. So that's the importance of meetups like this and groups like that. But basically, I didn't invent anything new. I just copied other people, and really.
So it's really that easy. It's really that easy. You don't have to take years of school. Have to have millions of dollars in the bank. You just have to go out and do it. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's it. So, and basically in the beginning, I didn't have anyone to copy. So 2003 is when I myself, unmarried, bought 3 single family homes. I'll make it all into a short, quick story. Nobody wanted to pay. I didn't know how to deal with tenants. Everybody owed me like $5,000 each tenant, and didn't know what to do. So I had to declare bankruptcy. I chose to, and I gave the properties back to the bank, gave them back in great condition. I just needed to get out. It was just the biggest stressor of my life. Needed to get out. My life wasn't in order back then either, my personal life. Fast forward to 2011, that was done. 2003, I was done out of it. In 2011, I quit drinking. That was a big issue in my life. And with the help of God, I accomplished that. And that's really when my life started to change. So when people say, can my life change? You can really make your life change. I just want to touch on that for a second. But and then 2015, met my wife. We decided, hey, this is something we're both interested in. We both want to own real estate. And we thought, let's do it. It sounds great. I mean, work for ourselves, be our own bosses. Sounds fantastic, right? And it is, but there's a lot of work that goes with it.
Not as passive as they always make it out to, is it?
No, it's not. And that's something I'm going to touch on too, that people really need to realize. But the thing is, we bought our first house. I had 20,000, she had 20,000, put it together, bought a house, rehabbed it. We're out of money, right? She moved in with me. Then we got married. She moved in with me. Then we had our second rental. What we did, then we scraped up some money, credit card debt. We did personal loans. She took one out. I took one out to buy another home for our third rental. And that's really how we've done things. And then we packaged, once we get a few rentals together, we pack them together, do a blanket commercial loan.
Okay.
On them, we'd take that money and then we'd go purchase more homes. And then we got to the point where we'd take that money and people would buy the homes for us. They'd lend us the money. We would use the money from the blanket loan and we would do the rehab on those houses. And then in 6 months, we would do another blanket loan with another package of houses and we would pay all those investors back. And that's really how we grew. I'm just kind of breezing over all of the sleepless nights and the, believe me, there's been some moments that I really sat there. I remember in a house where the ceiling was gone. I could see up into the roof of the bungalow going, oh man, I hope this works. You know what I mean? Early on. I mean, because you just really, it's just faith. It's just learn the steps to take, educate yourself like this. And then you got to take the steps, and you got to believe. And we're still going through that process. No matter what size you get, you're always growing, and growth is painful, and we're still going through that today.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the biggest thing that you mentioned is you got with people like-minded, got with people that could say, listen, how do I do this? I'm sitting in this house. I just bought this thing, and you're looking up, and there shouldn't be a hole there, right? So obviously you had a mentor or somebody to say, hey, John, Steve, Bill, all right, what do I need to do with this? Instead of letting that stop you, you took their advice and move forward. I mean, and again, like you said, change is always difficult, but change is always going to happen, whether it's to you or you do change yourself, right? It's always better to have change that you control. And I think that's key there, is that you've had you sought out those people, because real estate, even investing, when I was in single family home, it can be lonely at times, but it's a sport, right? You have to have a team to pull together to rely on those things when you're looking at that toilet that's overflowing for the third time and going, oh my God, why did I get into this? Have those people, have your back.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, I happen to find my mentor friend now. And I just went to a meeting and saw somebody that was attracting a lot of attention from other people because he was actively doing something in a meeting. You go to any meeting, you're going to find the people that are active, because it's the people that other people want to talk to. Whether the guy has 10, 20 units and you have one, that's fine. I mean, we reach out to those people that have those units or have done a syndication, if you're looking to syndicate, and get around them, pick their brain. And then, my advice is do what they say. The valuable thing is they've already been through the problems that you're going to go through. You're going to go through and come across all these issues and problems. These people have already been through those problems. They're onto their next set of problems. Okay. Because they're bigger. The gentleman that was my mentor was at 40 units. And, he gave me like 5 things to do. I don't remember what they were, but he said, hey, here, do these 5 things. And he told me, he's told me, he's like, I was shocked you came back and you did them. Nobody ever does anything I say. You know what I mean? And it's really true. I've talked to more people that, unfortunately, they just, they don't do anything. And it's not for everyone though. So, you don't look down on anybody at all. It's not for everyone. Cause like I said, there's been a lot of sleepless nights to grow, to move forward.
Exactly. Let me touch on one thing that you said. When you go to these meetings, seek out people in the meeting that are actively doing it. Kind of describe that to me. Obviously you go to these RIAs and there's, 100 people in the room. How do you really know that this guy is is it the way he's talking, the way he's looking? Kind of give me a feel for that.
Well, sure. Yeah, no problem. You got to go more than once. That's my suggestion. You'll know, because you'll see the same people over and over. You'll see people wash out. People won't come back. You'll never hear from them again, unfortunately, but you'll know, you'll talk to them. The first person that lent me money, we probably all know who he is. He's got long white hair, and there's probably a lot of people here that know who he is. But I knew him for a year or longer, and my mentor friend, he kind of vouched for me, and the guy, after a year and a half or however long it was, finally, we had a relationship already, but he, kind of said, hey, if you ever need some money, I'll lend you some money. That's how it works. If I wasn't going to those, establishing a relationship, he could see my progress. He could see that, wow, we were doing what we said, and we were paying people back. We were basically doing what we said. And that's huge, but you got to keep going. And what I like to suggest to people is find somebody always like 10 times ahead of you. So if you give 0 units, look for somebody with 10. You have 10, try to look for someone with 100. You have 100, look for somebody with 1,000. They've already been through those problems you're going through or about to go through, and they know how to handle them. And again, like I said, every step along the way, you have a different set of problems. And when you can find people that are slightly bigger, then that'll help you when you come across them.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that because I do the same thing as looking to, okay, who's got more here? Who's it? Because you're right. They already have these challenges already done. And they're on to the new challenge. They say, oh, yeah, well, hey, I did this. Call this guy and he take care of it. Okay, I've been 2 weeks trying to figure out how to do this. Well, yeah, you should have done it here, this and that. So that's a great way to do it. And I also like the fact that you said like the consistency, going to the meetings. And, a lot of this stuff is not, like these Zoom meetings here in the last year, it takes time to do this, but, it's not going to do it by itself. People aren't going to just drop and say, I want to, hey, be my sponsor for on 200 units, right? It's just not going to happen. So that's good that you said that and the consistency of that. So now once you got there, so now we talked earlier on the phone, kind of walk us through this last 8 unit, because the reason I asked is one, it was a 1031 exchange. And again, you're self-funded, and I think people want to understand how you did that. I do, obviously, but walk us through that, how you did that and how that came about.
So the 8 unit, I'm a full-time realtor in Southeast Michigan. And let me back up there. My wife and I made the decision. I think we had like 5 single-family homes, and then we had apartments. And we made the decision, we're transitioning out of single family homes. Didn't make sense for us anymore, we felt. So, and this was in December or January, we made this decision of this year, January this year, maybe. And we made the decision. So we started selling them. Well, we were going to have a huge capital gains tax to pay, around $70,000. So we thought we'll do a 1031 exchange where we put all of our profits into a 1031 exchange. It's a third party. They take the money. We never touch it. And once we find a property of equal or better value, I guess would be a good way to put it, those funds are now put towards the new property. And that way we can defer paying capital gains on it. So, and it's a great concept, but it's very tricky. There's some laws on it, and but the main things are you have 45 days to identify a property. So anybody out there listening, if I told you got 45 days to buy a property, or you're going to pay $70,000, I mean, man, your back's against the wall, right?
Exactly.
So it was tough. 45 days to identify, and then 680 days to close on it. So basically day 43, I called everybody I could, every owner, all off market. I reach out to people. I look at buildings, and if I think it might be a good target for us, then I'll try to find the owner, try to reach out to the owner.
Let's stop right there. So that when you're reaching out, you have a selected target market. So you weren't just, calling the whole world. You have a selected target market in southeastern Michigan that you had targeted, right? So now you set your sights on that area, and then that's how you started building up this. So that's important to know that, okay, yes, you had 45 days, but you also have to be really targeted. So, okay, when you start doing this, yes, you have 45 days. Don't start going to a market that you have no idea anything about. So you already knew the market, which helped, right?
Yeah, completely. So, we reached out to brokers, but yeah, that's exactly it, because we self-manage. So 42 we're selling units. We'll be at 41 units. We self-manage, so we have to keep it tight. We can't drive an hour away to work on a building for a water leak or something. It just doesn't make sense. So we focus right around where we live. That's the only reason we target this area. It's because it's where we live. So it makes sense. So that's what we do. So, I encourage anybody to listen to this in your city. Your market, your city better than anybody, and look around on Google Maps. That's what I would do. And I find buildings that look a little bit bigger than houses, and then I'll zoom in, I'll look at them, I'll go street view, I'll see if it's an apartment. And that's kind of what I do. I look all over on Google Maps, in our kind of our target area. And that's what I did. I mean, I was on there day and night, looking, and then, there's ways to find out the owner. Really simple, business entity search. If it's a company name, and it'll tell you the owner's name more than likely, and then Google the owner, and I would put phone number or cell phone number in there. And a lot of cell phone numbers are on the internet now. So
yeah, and a big thing was that $70,000 tax bill was driving you, right? That was
yeah,
that.
that and my determination. I mean, it was I'm always, I mean, always looking for the next property. So I mean, I'm thinking about it right now. You know what I mean? Because we're always thinking, and we always have something in mind that we're looking at. So that was it. But yeah, the 70 grand that kept me up. You know what I mean? Because I'm acquisition. So there's no one else to blame if we don't find it. Not that anyone would blame me, but I would, you know, I would take it personally for a short time, then I'd get over it. But yeah, it really drove me. I reached out to a lot of owners. Now I have contacts with a lot of owners that aren't looking to sell this minute, but possibly in the future. And that really helped. That really got us moving forward. And like I said, day 43, so day 45, we're done. It's over with. Day 43, this 8 unit hit the market, the MLS, believe it or not, in Woodhaven. And that's literally a mile and a half from our house. We live in Trenton, Michigan, and it's 3 minutes from our other buildings. So it couldn't have worked better. The thing was, what I had to do, now I had to get this under contract because it hit the market. It's hot. The market is on fire right now. So I got it under contract in about 4 hours. I had to actually go show a house. I had to go show a house, and then I had to come back because the agent said, write it up. I said, I'll be back. I got to go show a house first. And I came back, I wrote it up. And what I did, I was able to offer sight unseen because we have buildings in this market there, to your point of know your market, right? I know what the water is. I know what expenses are. I know what the gas bill is going to be. I know all that. I have 2 other buildings in that
general
area.
Facility. Okay. All right.
Sight unseen, as long as the building, you know, wasn't falling down, we knew we could do it. And that's what we did. So I got it locked up. Like I said, within 4 hours. And the other thing I did, I'm a realtor, so it was on the MLS. So there was a commission involved with it. We were at a stalemate at the purchase price. The listing price. Now, if you guys know anything about the market right now and you're following it, whatever the house is listed for, that's not what they want.
That's the starting point.
That's the starting point in this market. So that's what happened. You know, they listed it at 625. I said, boom, 4 hours. Here you go. Let's do this. They said, actually, he wants about 640. And I'm like, listen, it's not going to appraise, first of all. He said, well, we don't care. You know, it's the way it is, and that's the market. So I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you my commission back to the owner. I'll give my commission back to the owner, and that was about $18,000. And I said, just keep it. And that's what I did to get the deal. And you know, wow. Some people might not, I don't know, but to me, it was worth it. You know, so now we're gonna have that asset for years to come. We did overpay too, just to let everybody know. It appraised for $600,000. We bought it for $625,000. So it did. We did overpay. The beautiful thing with apartments is you can force appreciation, and we're raising rents. We have to because the building won't function. It's 2 bedrooms. The average rents are $712, and rents in the area should be about $950 to $1,000 for a 2-bedroom.
Wow.
So we have to raise rents to $850. Not something we like to do, but we have to be drastic on this one because it needs work. So we're raising rents to $850. It appraised at a 6.5 cap. So if you do the math, that adds about $100,000 in value. You know, so then the building would be worth at a 6.5 cap around $703,000 or something like that.
Okay.
So that's the value of apartments.
Wow.
And that happened in 3 months. We added that value.
Wow. All right, let me back you up here because you hit a couple gold nuggets here. I want to kind of go over here, if you don't mind. So now
over the map.
you overpaid How did that transaction happen at the bank? Did you have to bring more money to the table now? How does that, because obviously the bank says, hey, Mr. Appraiser, what is this thing worth? And they say, well, it's X, but you're buying X plus Y. Walk us through that.
Yeah, so the bank was comfortable with it. They knew we had 222. I share, everything. We had $220,000 to deploy. So we're putting that down, no matter what it appraised for. That's what's going down because you cannot touch the money.
Okay.
So we're all in on 220. So I don't care what it appraised.
So you were doing more than 20% down or 30% down.
Yeah.
You were, so that kind of took care of the, hey, are these guys fly by night? Because you're putting 200,000 down on a 600,000 asset. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Correct. And that was like 36% we put down. So right in the appraisal too, the appraiser wrote, this is a 1031 transaction, which typically is people overpay on because they know they got you. I mean, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We overpaid. The bank was fine with it because we put so much down, but we had to cover that. Yeah, that 25,000. The bank isn't going to lend us 625. They'll lend us 600.
Gotcha.
80% of 600,000. So
okay, but your business plan supported that because you said you're going from what 700, right? Now you're going up to 8, maybe even 1,000. Now, what's your business plan? Is that in a year's time getting that? Yeah, you're forcing appreciation, which is this is exactly what we look for in apartments, right? This is the low rents. You're going to come in and you're going to do some, we've already talked about some of the stuff you were doing, fixing the units up. And then all of a sudden now, Mr. Tenant, you need to be paying here because now this is the area rents, right? So you're already adding value to this thing, day one or week one of ownership.
Correct. Yeah. And like I said, we're giving them 45 days. We just sent the letters out the other day. We've talked to some tenants, explained why we have to do it. So everyone's got a business plan and everyone will look and, not everyone, but let me just say, if people look and say, okay, rents are going to be $950, $1,000. Great. Let me run my numbers based off that. The problem is getting there. And you have to remember, if you're self-managing, you're the one in there dealing with the tenants, dealing with all the problems, dealing with the commotion of raising rent. So you need to keep that in mind when you do your business plan. So what we figured, okay, we're going to raise it to 850. It's a little drastic. It's 712 average rents. We do not like to do that. But again, the building can't function. So we have to do it. But the thing we figured, okay, we'll raise rent. Let's say 4 people move out. We'll have to do 4 rehabs. We're going to bring them up to 950 to 1,000, whatever the market dictates. And it depends on the level of our rehab. So now there's 4 up to 950 or 1,000. And then we figured by next year, we should be close. We'll probably have 4 more move out. And that would be our 8. So realistically, I think I actually told them like 16, maybe 18 months, something like that. The bank. This is the bank who I'm having this conversation with.
Gotcha.
The bank wants to see my pro forma. The bank wants to see, just like you said, what are you going to do? What are your plans here? Why would we lend you money on this when it's only doing this amount of money? So it's my job, one, to show the bank, look at the deal we have here. Once we put some money into this and really get it operating. The other thing to show them is how can we perform? So we have a track record. This is our third deal with this lender. And so they know us pretty well. And so I mean, they go to bat for us too. It's a commercial broker we use. And he goes to bat for us. And, really we got that. And we were able to show the bank, hey, this is a good deal.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now, when you got this under a contract, and I like the fact that you've got a business plan, which everybody should have, whether you're doing it or not. You have to do it because, like you said, you've shown it to your broker who goes to bat for you, shows it to the banker. Even though you had 36% down, they still got to understand that they're lending you money. Right? What's your plan? Now, this isn't the first multi-unit that you've bought, right? Or is this the first multi-unit? You own other buildings in that area?
Yeah, this is the third. So we own
Okay.
3 other. Yeah, this is our third building. Just